I hope you don't have a million pages of notes tonight.
I don't have a million pages.
Yeah, do you have 8?
No, I have 5.
Ooh.
Less than 5. Like,
ooh.
Not even a full 5.
Ooh.
Yeah, I get it. It's funny. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Book Retorts. I'm Danielle.
I'm Sam.
Sam's radio voice, everybody.
Well, I don't need this from you, Danielle, today. Not today. You've been on my case since we started recording tonight. Come
Hardly.
on. I think your lack of sleep has made you snarkier than normal.
Okay, if you say so. Anyway, everybody, this is
I
the
have
podcast.
recordings to prove it.
Oh my gosh, this is the podcast where one of us makes up.
Okay, great. All right, this is already a disaster.
All right, this is the podcast where one of us explains a weird piece of media to the other person who has no experience with it.
Yay, we got through it, everyone. We're done. Okay, stop it here because we're clearly not ready for this.
Yeah, Sam's totally not going to edit up my flood. I know him.
Oh, actually, this whole opening is gold.
On the plus side, we do have new material today, everybody. I know you didn't want to hear something else that we've already done for the 12th time.
To be fair, we've never repeated anything. We've just continued certain things.
That's true. This is actually a slight continuation.
Yeah.
In that, I am doing another Disney Channel original movie. Woo!
Yay!
Cue the applause.
Yay!
This movie is called The 13th Year. It's a 1999
wait.
Disney Channel original movie.
13th? Did I do the movie The 13th Warrior? It's the same thing, right?
No, it's not the same thing.
Are you sure? Michael Crichton wrote this, right?
Yes. Go ahead and keep that in your brain while we talk about this movie.
I want to hear the Michael Crichton Disney Channel original movie. That would be amazing. I wish Disney would do like a run of famous directors, just for like promotionals. They have like Steven Spielberg because that makes sense. And they do like Quentin Tarantino because that'd be hilarious.
I would watch those.
And the worst one would be Roman Polanski.
It certainly would be questionable.
Oh, so bad.
All right. Anyway, 13th Year.
Yes. I'm sorry. I should get a description for this.
Some of you that lived through the 90s may actually remember this movie.
All right, Danielle, what is this movie about? Share with me your wisdom.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Whether I'd like to or not, it's happening. All right. You've sent me a single sentence, which I have not looked at yet. Here we go. As a boy, Shay Starbuck?
I guess that's his name.
Oh, that's the actor's name.
Yes.
Shay or Shez? I don't know. I'm going to go Shay. As a boy approaches adolescence, he finds he has learned to communicate with fish. That's the description you're giving me, Danielle?
I am.
That's the hook. Boy talks to fish.
Because it's funnier.
Great. Wasn't there like an experiment where a bunch of people lived with a dolphin and ended up like doing sexual favors for the dolphin?
Ew, no. This is
this
Disney
is
Channel
70s.
original movie, everybody.
I don't know. Disney was weird. They did like acid with a dolphin or something, and there were sexual favors that happened. I'm not going to get into it.
Okay, well, this is 1999, so it's a much more charming movie.
Boy talks to fish, regrets it. That's the tagline.
All right, this movie opens with the ocean, as one might suspect with fish.
I have a question already.
Oh my gosh, Sam, what?
The implication that he's talking to fish implies that fish are sentient. This goes back to our old problem of whenever you have talking animals, the whole like fish industry and the fact that like sushi exists is horrifying now.
Okay, well, you listen to the plot of this movie and you tell me if it sounds like fish are sentient.
So he's talking to fish who aren't sentient?
You'll find out.
Okay, or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just had to get that out of the way early so we didn't run into it later.
Okay, again, cue scene. There is a ocean.
Oh, shocking.
And underneath you see a shadow of something. It's a mermaid. It's a shadow of a mermaid. It's clearly a mermaid in the shadow.
I thought it was
holding
fish
something.
he was communicating with.
Sam, that was just the summary, Sam. I didn't write the summary.
Okay. Unless they're calling the mermaid fish, because that's offensive.
No, it's not.
Okay.
So it's a mermaid. They're holding something in their arms, and you zoom to under the water, and the thing they're holding in their arms, it's a baby, Sam.
Okay.
She's holding a baby.
Adult mermaid, got it. With a baby
Got it.
mermaid. I'm assuming to be a mermaid. If it's a baby human, that human's in trouble.
We'll find out.
Well, because it's dead. It's underwater, Danielle.
Apparently it can breathe underwater, Sam, this baby. So we
It's a
zoom back
merbaby.
out. And zoom back out to a fishing boat where a man is sleeping. Hears a big splash off the bow of the ship and wakes up excited to see one big fish and zooms off after it, calling, "Hey, fishy, fishy." And he
What?
apparently...
That's how
what he
fishing
says.
works?
Apparently.
All I need is one big fish and my whole career is set.
So he's calling for it. "Hey, fishy, fishy. Hey, fishy, fishy." And he apparently has a sonar system that locks on target.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what it says.
Sure. I mean,
That's literally what it says.
I mean, I know
that.
that fish sonar exists, but I don't know if it like locks on target like it's a Russian submarine.
It does. It even says it on screen.
Great.
And the mermaid rushes off as it's being stalked across the ocean.
Why was the mermaid near the boat?
It was just swimming. This mermaid does many questionable things.
Okay. If it leaves the baby...
Why did it flash its tail in front of the fisherman?
Okay.
Who knows?
I was going to say, I thought it was going to leave the baby on the fisherman's boat, like a reverse Moses situation where instead of putting the baby in the water, it was putting the baby out of
Wait
the water.
for it.
Okay, yeah, doing a reverse Moses.
Sort of. So it hides between one of those metal buoys, the ones that have the bell that ring,
Yes.
and a boat that is sitting kind of near a pier. It's not near a pier. It's just parked alongside the buoy.
So there's a buoy with a boat. It's a different boat than the fishing boat with the locked-on sonar.
Correct.
That was the sentence. Great.
And the sonar system loses the signal, but the fisherman catches on to where she might be hiding.
She's like, "Oh, where's the only place in this wide open ocean that has some kind of obstruction to my sonar system?"
Exactly. Nobody said he wasn't smart. So,
Well, calling here fishy fishy proves it.
I'm assuming the concerned that he might catch her, she hides the baby in the basket of a boat. It's like a little thing that kind of goes off the side that's storing some stuff.
So, question.
Yes.
Are these splash rules where the mermaid out of the water grows human legs?
No.
Okay. So there's just a
Not
mermaid
really.
baby on a boat in a basket and it's going to dry out and die.
Well, the mermaid baby seems to have legs already. It does not seem to have mermaid.
What is going on here,
Sam,
Danielle?
I cannot explain to you how the baby breathes underwater. I also think it's weird. You just gotta go with it.
Okay. I got so many questions. I know you're never going to answer these questions, but did that mermaid have sex with a human?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because I would imagine, and again, I'm not a mermaid expert here, and we should bring in a mermaid expert because they would be able to tell us the answer to this. But if a mermaid baby made from two mer people should be fully merperson, yes?
You would think so, but we're going to get a little more into the details of the evolution of the merpeople during this movie. So maybe some of your questions will be answered.
I think that'll only raise more questions because use the word evolution, which, sure.
We'll find out.
All right. Also, do mermaids lay eggs? They're not mammals, but why do they have breasts then? This is a lot of questions.
I don't know, but the daddy merman is never mentioned, so I can only imagine there's some kind of like asexual reproduction or something going on in this.
But this is the
mermaid.
question I have about mer folk in general, and this is going to be a tangent. I'm sorry, but here we are. Why do mer people have mammary glands, like breasts? If they're fish people, like, are they mammals? I don't understand. Like, do they nurse? They're young, but they don't give birth, I assume, because they have no, like, birth. I mean, I guess they could be like whales. These are questions I don't know the answer to.
I'm sure you could Google it with some success.
I'm afraid to Google anything about mermaid genitalia, honestly.
Well, let's do mermaid birthing, Sam.
Oh, yeah, that's going to lead to not horrifying pictures on Google.
I might look it up later. I'll let you know.
Please do filter it for me. But again, I can understand, like, there are aquatic mammals, but anyway, this is very complicated. We should move on.
Well, you're the one who put us here.
I'm sorry.
So she puts the baby into the little basket off of the boat
Reverse
and swims
Moses.
off.
Got it, yeah.
Right, and swims off trying to get the attention of the man, away from her baby. And she
Question.
finally...
Sorry.
Yes.
Why should that just swim down?
I do not know, Sam. Maybe the baby can't go under a certain pressure in the ocean.
Because it's like a part human baby and its lungs would explode.
Maybe.
She has to treat it like a whale. She keep bringing the baby up to surface to air. Like has a little blowhole thing.
So she swims off and she finally shows the fisherman that she's a mermaid.
Why?
reasons. I don't know,
Without the
Sam.
baby, she could dive deep and lose him and circle around back for her baby. It'd be perfect.
And he's really excited about finding out that this is a mermaid.
I mean,
and
yeah.
he crashes into submerged rocks, and he doesn't seem to mind. And she just kind of rolls her eyes at him like, oh, crazy humans, and then kind of swims back to try and get her baby.
So she pulled a siren on him.
Why she couldn't do that with a baby in her hands, I don't know.
Right. A lot of questionable things in the first, I'm guessing, 1 minute of this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
It's taken us like 15 minutes to get through this
Yeah,
minute.
it was a crazy minute. You have to admit there's a lot of insanity packed in that first minute here. A lot of questions that have come up was like, why does her baby have human legs? Principal among them.
That is never going to be answered in this movie. I'm sorry.
I hate that.
I mean, it's kind of answered, but not really.
Okay, we're going to make up some reasons then.
So, bummer though. When she goes back to get her baby, it is no longer there because because while she was showing off that she's a mermaid, the boat left and went back towards shore. And it's piloted by Uncle Joey from Full House and his wife.
Dave Coulier.
Yes.
There was a recent article I saw that said that a famous song about a terrible ex-lover was about him.
Yeah, the Alanis Morissette song.
Yeah, okay.
I keep up, Sam.
I know you do. I'm impressed that I knew that.
I'm impressed you knew that too.
There you go. I was bragging about being on the pulse for once.
I have to admit that what caught my attention was probably Alanis Morissette. What caught your attention was the fact that it was Uncle Joey from Full House.
That's probably not true. Not that I was like a big Full House fan or anything. I just have no concept of like, pop stars.
Exactly. And so on board is a man, Uncle Joey, and his wife.
What's his name in the movie, Danielle?
His name is Wit, I think.
You're going to call him Uncle Joey this whole time, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I wrote his name down later on. His name, Uncle Joey, also named Wit.
Okay, great. Thank you, Danielle.
You're welcome. I don't know what the wife's name is. I'm sorry.
I'm sure she's irrelevant.
And they're talking about how they just moved to the area to start a tour boat company.
Where is this fancy resort that has like a need for tour boat? Oh, look, come out and see this buoy in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know where they live. It looks very like, I'm going to guess East Coasty, but I could be completely wrong.
I'm going to be honest here. There is nothing on the East Coast out here that is worth a tour boat, really. Like
Carolinas? I don't know, Sam.
I mean, I'm probably wrong about that. I'll admit there are probably certain fun things on a tour boat out here, but it's not like this is Hawaii or something. Like come and see the amazing tropical scenery or whatever.
Maybe it's supposed to be in like California or something.
All
Hang
right.
on, let's see if the internet says.
Okay.
It's one of those movies that doesn't have a lot of like city life, so you have no idea what the actual
it's
town
very,
is. It could be anywhere.
Yeah. And it's any town USA.
Exactly. Any town next to an ocean. So I cannot tell you.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like, if they're big tourists, but they want to see the buoy, if that buoy goes under from a hurricane or something, they're screwed.
So they're chatting on the boat as they head back to shore, and they hear a noise, and they realize it's a baby crying. And they stop the boat and fish it out of the basket. Can we keep him, the woman asks?
No, we must immediately call the
work.
police. The reasonable husband responds and say that we found a lost baby. We cannot just take this baby that was trapped on our boat and just pretend like nothing else happened, like it's a $5 bill we picked up off the street.
First off, parents in this are wild. Secondly, the mom is extra wild.
No.
So Uncle Joey, also named Wit, says it's not a $1 bill that they found on the sidewalk, so no, they can't keep him.
I like this guy. He has the right thought process.
But as they make it to shore and they're like walking across the beach, they're picking out his name, which is Cody. And the mama mermaid looks very forlornly from the water, like, Cody, come back.
That's not the name the mermaid gave it. They gave him
I imagine not.
This is a culturally appropriate, like, they're taking this baby and trying to erase its cultural identity by giving it a name that does not belong to its native people.
Exactly. I'm going actually to take that back and say I assume that it was the West Coast because he's in the water a lot more. So I bet California is a totally valid place. It's either the South or California because he goes into the ocean quite a lot, and I realize he probably has an affinity for the ocean. However,
like I said, very cold, not someplace you want to be swimming just on a whim.
Exactly. And they seem to have kind of like some beach vibes. I'm gonna go with California.
Okay,
Take
well
it back.
Great.
Not just because it was filmed there.
So these two people steal a baby and do not report to anybody. And in the time it takes them to get their boat from a buoy to shore, they've decided this is a crime they're comfortable with.
As far as we know, this far in the plot, they plan to just steal the baby.
So Wit has dropped all objections. Like his persuasive and quite brilliant $1 bill argument apparently did not work.
Well, I mean, we might find out later whether or not they did anything in the intervening time, but let's get on.
Okay, sorry.
So, time jump 13 years later,
Of course.
Sam.
13 years later, the mama mermaid has forgotten all about her son and laid a clutch of eggs to replace him.
It's like lives in a completely different place down in the Bahamas.
Yeah, moved to like Australia or something, the Great Barrier Reef.
Exactly. So this is where I wrote in my notes, I guess adopting a random baby you find isn't that hard because Cody is now 13-ish and aboard their boat. So that worked out well for them.
I mean, this is so insane. Like, how do you find a baby on your boat in the ocean and not have any questions about that?
Well, maybe they did what they were supposed to, Sam. They might have done due diligence. You don't know yet. Or at all.
I'm fairly certain they did not.
So his mom calls for him. He's working on the boat, but before he goes, he sees a flash of a large fish in the water and looks at it curiously before heading out. So apparently they're in the middle of a tour and the boat is just falling to pieces around them.
I knew their business was unsustainable.
Also, the boat tour is $5, which seems real cheap even in 1999.
What the? I mean, unless it's like literally to the buoy and back for 10 minutes. That's right? Insane.
Because this older woman comes up, she's like, I paid $5 for this tour,
well,
and we haven't even left the pier.
You got like, more than you paid for, frankly. The fact that the boat was floating proved that you paid your $5 to a good cause.
And then we cut to a swim meet with a tuba player and an enthusiastic crowd.
Is
Cody's
the tuba
missing.
player relevant to the swim meet, or is he just there?
Yeah, no, the tuba player actually is relevant to the swim meet.
I can't wait to... Is it just the tuba player, or is there like a band here for like the meet?
Sam, I have so many things to say about these swim meets.
Well, you are the person who has done swim meets, so I'll defer to your expertise on them.
Oh my gosh, it's movie.
Is it traditional to have a tuba player to swim meets, Danielle?
Absolutely not.
What about a French horn player?
No.
Sousaphone.
Maybe my school just didn't have super cool things at their swim meets, but I have never seen a swim meet like this in my life. I've been to a lot of swim meets.
I'm so excited for the swim meet, Danielle. This is one I'd actually go to, no offense.
Yeah, there's a tuba player.
Score.
Cody's
check.
missing. Yes, Cody's supposed to be there. Cody is not there. And the coach is giving a pep talk about how if they win this one, they go to the state finals as the first team ever to do it. And again, not how anything works in a swim meet. It's not really a team sport.
I was going to say, is it like individual swimmers?
Team.
Yeah.
There is a swim team, but it is an individual sport.
Well, I mean, there's a relay,
track
right?
Team. There's relays. Your relay could go to a state meet. Like, not all the swimmers on your swim team are going to go to a state meet because not all of them will have qualified for the state meet. There's just not, like, your team doesn't go.
Dear audience, I'd like to take this moment to just mention that Danielle was a swimmer, clearly, and has strong feelings about the inaccuracies of this swim meet representation here. These objections do not extend to other things that she was not involved in.
Sure, this is the one thing I actually have something to say about.
Disclaimer over.
So anyway, apparently the entire team gets to go to and it's also a middle school swim team.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they would do it like if someone qualifies, you all get to go because you don't leave anyone behind, right? That'd be mean.
Sure.
I mean, you're there to cheer on your teammates, support.
Yeah, this is just apparently swimming's just a really big deal at this middle school, so maybe it's just a whole different vibe than it was at the school that I went to.
Have you been to any school where like, oh, swimming, that's the big sport around here?
No, but there's there's a tuba player, and later, spoiler, there's a band.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of people in the audience, and let me tell you, not that interesting swim meets.
That's what I'm going to say, Danielle. Like, this is why this is so wild, because reality is not this for swim meets.
I mean, not that our coach was not enthusiastic, but it was not like a go team go kind of rallying, like pre-football game kind of thing.
I have never been to a swim meet, Danielle, and the fact that I don't really have a problem with that just shows how, like, I don't want to say uninteresting, but like, unless you have a personal connection to one of the swimmers, how like unnecessary a swim meet is in your life.
Yeah, so that's what you guys all just found out, is that Sam never supported me in my swim team years in high school.
You were in swim team in high school?
Yeah, for 3 years.
I know, I'm kidding.
You know what? You were doing other things, and I was the only person in our entire group who did a sport.
Yeah, but like, did anybody care?
No, because nobody went to that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't point me. It's like no one went to these swim meets. It was like everyone came but Sam.
Well, I had friends that supported other things, just not swim meets. To be fair, again, swim meets, very boring.
I supported you, Danielle, by introducing you to lots of weird media at that time, too.
That must be it. Anyway, there's also an announcer. And again,
wait, what?
Most insane thing I've ever seen at a middle school swim meet.
Is this the Olympics? What's going on here?
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
And I've watched swimming on the Olympics, and I still don't get it. Like, it's something, unless you know what's happening, you're like, people have gone underwater, and then somebody's won. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I actually really like watching swimming,
I'm
but
sure you do.
Absolutely understand why people would not want to watch swimming.
I mean, I'm not saying it's exclusively swimming's problem. Like, there are a lot of sports where if you don't know what's happening, it's just gibberish to you.
It is. So poor Cody, getting back to the movie.
Right, of course. There's a movie here somewhere, not just swim meet talk with Sam and Danielle.
Poor Cody. He's been stuck on the boat, and he finally runs for it. The parents are like, maybe you can make the ferry. So he's trying to make the meet.
Wait,
he
a ferry from the boat?
Yeah, so the boat was like stuck in the pier. It can't leave. And apparently the school is on the other side of the channel or whatever from where they are. So they're like, maybe you can catch, he was going to go across on the boat with his family.
I like to imagine there is an island that the school is on. Just a one island, tiny island with nothing but the school on it.
That's entirely possible. I don't think I saw otherwise in this movie.
Because that sounds like a great horror movie premise.
So he misses the ferry by just seconds and decides instead of just swimming to the ferry, which would make sense, he swims across the channel, leaving the ferry in the dust.
What?
Everybody's like, wow, look at him go.
He has fins.
And he makes it just as his race is about to start and takes his mark up on the diving board.
Wouldn't he already be exhausted?
You'd think so, but no.
Well, I forget. He is, at least half merperson, so...
They also pause the race. They're like, oh, wait, Cody's here. Hang on, everybody. They're all, like, getting ready to dive into the water. Everybody stands up and is like, Cody.
Are you kidding me?
I was like, this is not how any of this works.
I mean, Cody is the most important person there, Danielle.
Apparently, that's what we learn in this movie. So, I will give this movie credit. The swim meets are bananas, but they clearly got a bunch of swimmers because these people are like, they dive pretty well. There was one questionable diver, but everybody else dived pretty well. They did their flip turns, like they were breathing more or less properly. Like, it was a solid, I've seen a lot of swim things, and sometimes I'm like, these people can't swim.
Quick question, Danielle.
Yes.
Dived or dove?
They dove into the water.
I mean, I don't know what the difference is. Like, why use one past participle versus another?
Like hanged and hung? I don't know. Lay and lie. I'm sure there's reasons.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. But I just find it you guys wondering if you knew anything about it as a swimmer.
I do not.
Okay. Moving on. I'm glad they got that right, though, Danielle.
I was impressed. Somehow Cody, who apparently can swim faster than a ferry, comes in second to Sean Marshall.
Put that kid out in front of that ferry. Let's see what happens.
I know. And Sean Marshall, I think this is a very unclear thing. I feel like I was discovering this as the movie went on because I didn't have a very strong recollection of this movie from when I was a kid. I think he's a friend.
Of Cody's?
I would say. Yeah, I would say a frenemy because it's a mixed relationship bag we have here, which you'll see soon.
Competitive friends.
Yes, a very competitive friend. So he's super obnoxious about his win, though. He's all like, I'll always be gold and you'll always be silver. Like, I'm the best. And I'm like, is this a friend or is this the jerk of the movie? Like, I can't tell.
I mean, I appreciate a movie that is willing to give a relationship between two people more than a binary type of situation where there's friends or enemies.
That's true. I would say this movie manages to do that, though I'm not sure it ever fully delves into their relationship.
Where would you put our friendship on the frenemy scale, Danielle?
More friends than enemies, usually.
It was a very drawn-out usually.
So, Sam, yes. Guess what?
Cody is very sad.
No, they made it to the state finals.
Somehow, I forgot that was a thing already.
Also, just as it's all announced, he gets his little silver medal. He seems fine with it. He's like, I swam good. Like, you swam good. Good job.
You swam past the ferry.
Just as all this is going on, and they're kind of like clean up the pool, everybody's leaving, the tuba player falls into the pool. And the coach, just being remarkable, walks off as Cody dives in to save this boy.
The adult is like, well, that kid is dead. My job here is done.
He's like, somebody get him out of my pool. And he like walks off and Cody's like, fine. And he like dives in to get this poor kid who's like sunk to the bottom with his tuba and can't swim.
Wow, that coach should be fired.
It's amazing. So Cody saves him and like pulls him out, but he leaves his tuba at the bottom of the pool because Cody's actually a little bit of a punk. You think he's kind of nice until now. He is not.
So he does that on purpose, like, your tuba's gone, bucko.
Well, he doesn't say anything. He's just, the kid's like, what about my tuba? And Cody's like, peace. I saved you. I'm out.
I mean, to be fair to Cody, like, this should not be his problem to begin with.
It shouldn't, but you're doing it. If you save the kid, you might as well just get the tuba. It's like he's the one that can swim. Go just grab the tuba and pull it up. Come on.
I guess, but like I also kind of feel like, I mean, that's a lot of pressure for Cody, who is, again, 13 or whatever.
Sure, but we don't get into the pressures of Cody's life.
Well, mostly it's water pressure.
So now we learn that Cody has apparently been getting progressively better. So that he came in second to the fastest guy in the team is actually quite a, feat for him.
So, I mean, he's been following a standard athletic track of improvement.
Exactly. And he's not really sure why he's suddenly gotten better because he hasn't really changed anything about his training at all. And we also learned that they have a little friend group. It's Sean, the kid who beat him, Cody, and then Sam.
Me. Yes, I was there.
No.
Oh.
No, it's a woman, Sam.
I mean, I'm not here to judge.
And she has a big old crush on Cody.
Well, who doesn't? He was so dreamy back then. I remember the days of Cody in middle school when we were both young and I was female.
Ches Starbuck. Che Starbuck. I don't know, Sam.
I really like the idea of Shay Starbuck, like it's his house.
It might be.
Like, I wonder if his parents were big fans of the original Battlestar Galactica with Starbuck and everything.
I mean, maybe it was from that book. What doesn't Starbuck come from? A very famous book?
I mean, probably, yes. But I'm not educated enough for that.
Or something. Come on.
Could be was it Moby Dick?
I don't know.
Well, this has been illiteracy chat with Danielle and Sam, who are too much of Philistines to know classic literature. But we do know weird media, which is what you're here for.
Yeah, Starbuck from Herman Melville's classic American novel, Moby Dick.
Well, Danielle, that was a very impressive poll you got there.
Thank you. Good job. Woohoo!
I prefer to think of them as Battlestar Galactica fans.
That'd be totally fair.
All right, so dreamy Cody with Sam, who has a secret crush on him, I assume. Secret.
I don't. Their relationship's very confusing.
Good.
So we cut to the pier.
They are at that age. They're very confusing at that age.
Cut to the pier, the dock, where we see Big John Wheatley, who is the same fisherman who saw the mermaid earlier, 13 years before.
Big John Wheatley.
That's his name.
Got it.
Don't wear it out.
I'm definitely not going to.
The other men on the dock are giving him a lot of flack about believing in mermaids, like conspiracy theorists.
And that he was drunk when he crashed his boat or something. They're like, oh, it was a mermaid.
Yeah, basically. They're just giving him a really hard time. They're kind of jerks about it. And he takes it like it's not a big deal. He's just very serene as he walks down the dock. Like, I did see a mermaid, and one day I'll prove it to you all.
He's like one of those Bigfoot truthers.
Exactly. And we find out, Sam, that he is the dad of the tuba player. Didn't see that coming, did you?
I mean, I don't know why I would have. I don't know even why it's important.
But apparently he's a little bit of an absentee father because his tuba playing son comes in to ask him for some help. And he's like, not now, I'm busy. And he's not busy. He's just hanging around his giant warehouse full of weird things.
Back up. Warehouse full of weird things? Like what, the Ark of the Covenant's there? Like the Indiana Jones warehouse? What are you talking about?
It just is one of those warehouses that just has a lot of like mysterious things in it. You can see like orbs of things and colorful
orbs of what is this? Like that movie about the guy, the devil opens a shop and people buy things and they all have like curses associated with them.
I mean, maybe I don't know his life.
Because you just described like some weird like fantasy gift shop.
I mean, it kind of what it looked like.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but you have to admit, like you just glossed over like it was totally normal. Like, oh yeah, a warehouse full of orbs.
I mean, it's not just orbs. I was just thinking I remember a particular scene where there's like a giant circle thing hanging from the ceiling and it's very colorful and it has a lot of like odd
There's nothing normal about what you're saying, Danielle, to what I'm trying to convey.
Well, I think he's just one of those people who collects like odd memorabilia and odd things from the sea. Like,
okay,
he's just
sure.
that guy.
Yes, orbs from the sea. Come get Big John Wheatley?
Yeah.
Yeah, Big John Wheatley's orbs from the sea.
I mean, I would stop at that shop.
I mean, how could you now with a name like that? You'd be like, well, I gotta know what those orbs are.
So the next day at school, Cody is apparently super popular, but super bad at class, as we see with an F on his biology paper. Oh, no,
so it's like
Cody.
a reversal.
Right.
Oh.
But next week they're studying marine biology, so I'm sure it'll be fine because this movie revolves around the ocean.
Yeah, they can just dissect Cody.
Right. So they're working in teams. They have a project that's upcoming, and Cody is partnered with the tuba geek.
That was my second guess.
Oh, no. Yeah, his name's Jess Wheatley.
Jess?
Jess, yep.
Okay. So Jess Wheatley, the tuba player. And I don't remember the other people's names, and I'm sure you'll remind me.
And this is again where we realize that Cody is a little bit of a jerk.
Well, he's 13 years old. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, I'm partnered with this stupid geek. And you would think that this is like a dream match for him because he's failing biology and this kid is like super
smart
into
get you to pass.
biology.
Yeah. This is like your 101 about like, let me pair up with a smart kid, she'll do all the work and I'll pass.
Exactly, but he hasn't apparently gotten that far in his life. But he's kind of seems to be like a situational jerk because in the same breath that he's kind of like, I don't want to be partnered with you, he also low-key casually invites him to his birthday party the next day.
Okay.
Which, it's a choice.
Again, I feel like that's very real how teenagers are. They're very volatile.
So
mercurial.
Also, Sam seems to think she's dating Cody,
but
I'm not
Sam.
I'm not entirely sure Cody knows that Sam is dating him.
Oh my gosh, Danielle, you were describing my middle school experience.
Because Sam gets him a picture of herself for his birthday.
What? No.
It is. He opens it up and I laughed because it's like a frame that she handmade and it has the little shells on it. It's just like her school photo.
It's like a headshot. Like, consider me for your next role.
It's so funny. I was
Did
like,
she sign
man, that's
it like with a little heart?
13-year-old thing to do.
Oh, Danielle, I don't know much about this movie, but I do know this has captured middle school perfectly for us, people of a certain age.
Makes me laugh.
It's too real.
And then she says, well, there's actually more to the present, but you don't have to open it. And she stands there with her lips pursed and her eyes closed.
I admire her chutzpah.
That's the kind of thing you think about years later. You're like, holy cow, why did I say that out loud?
At least she didn't like tie a ribbon around her lips or something.
Oh gosh, it was so good. He totally goes for it because, he's a little horn doggy 13-year-old.
Yeah, duh. How's it go? Badly, I assume.
No, they kiss fine, but it shocks them. Like it literally, there's a shock as they do. Yeah.
Oh, I guess kissing is not compatible with fish people.
I guess. So they laugh and Sam runs off. And
that's it? He's not like going to go back for seconds?
Well, she says something sassy and then runs out of the room.
Oh, okay. She's playing coy. Get it? Because it's fish.
Oh, fish jokes galore.
I got to do all kinds of fish puns here, Danielle.
Okay, well, that was one. Let's see how many Sam gets to by the end of the podcast.
Well, we want to make sure our listeners have a whale of a time.
2. Ding, ding. Okay, now with fish puns. Jess shows
Come on,
up.
we got to turn this around.
So Jess shows up, and then Cody's a jerk again because he rides up on his bike, little Jess does, and he's like, Cody, I'm here for your birthday party. And Cody is like to his friends are giving a hard time, particularly Sean, and he's like, I invite him. I didn't think he would actually come to the party.
Why'd you invite him?
I know, so stupid. He didn't have to. He didn't know the party was happening. There was no reason to.
I'm suddenly very angry.
And Jess realizes that they're kind of laughing at him and making fun of him. And the mom comes up and is like, oh, you must be one of Cody's friends. Come on to the party. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm not really one of his friends. And he hands off the gift and rides his bike off. He doesn't go to the party. It's so sad.
Cody's going to feel guilty, which he should, the little punk.
He super does not seem to feel guilty.
Are we supposed to like this kid? I mean, I get being a teenager, but is there a redemptive arc here, or is he just a little jerk the whole time?
No, I wouldn't say there's a redemptive arc, but he's at least becomes, I think he's somebody who's more influenced by his friends. I think he's probably a nice kid.
He's with the wrong crowd. I gotcha.
And Sam seems nice enough. I think
we are nice.
She's
Thank
just
you.
kind of caught up. It's mostly Sean.
I decided that any Sam in a piece of media that you describe is obviously just me.
Obviously. So that night he finds the present. It was stuck in his room and from Jess, and he opens it, and it's a copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which he begins to read.
Well, I mean, sure. I guess kids love Jules Verne.
Jess does. He's such a dork. I love him.
Yeah, I just don't know if I be my first gift to a middle school kid. You like to swim. He's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, a book that doesn't have a lot of swimming in it.
Well, he was trying to get him interested in his marine biology.
That's true.
Sam.
That's true. All right, giant squid, that's cool.
That night, Cody has dreams about a lighthouse and maybe a mermaid and definitely some bubbles and swimming underwater towards a light that a mermaid appears from. He might be dying because he's swimming towards the light. It's a very confusing dream.
Is this the lighthouse from Annihilation, that book? You didn't read that book?
I did not read that book.
That's a weird book.
And also, I don't understand what a lighthouse has to do with anything. It plays no part in this entire movie.
I was going to say that the lighthouse from the lighthouse, but that's a much weirder movie.
Yes. So his alarm wakes him up, and when he touches it, lightning static appears from his fingers, frying the alarm and fluffing up his hair.
Okay, I got a question. Is lightning power a canonical merperson thing?
Man, Sam, I have questions about this. We'll get to it later. I cannot tell you.
Oh, I figured it out, Danielle. Okay, this is a Disney property, right?
Yes.
You know how now, like with the new Star Wars movie, every person has to relate to Palpatine? Like, Rey is now like granddaughter because that's stupid, but it's true now because Disney had to make the connection. I think Cody is a far distant descendant of Emperor Palpatine, why he has his lightning powers.
Quite possibly.
Disneyverse, completed. You're welcome, world.
1999. It was way ahead of its time.
Foreshadowing.
So he goes downstairs to the kitchen, his mom's making breakfast, and he drinks juice from the carton, and all his mom does is say, honey, you're not supposed to do that, which, no, gross, make him stop.
This is Danielle's germaphobe corner.
It is gross, and the carton of juice, as he's trying to put it back in the fridge, sticks to his hands, and he looks puzzled, and he's trying to get it off, and he's just having a real hard time.
This is Spider-Man.
It gets very Spider-Man-y. So later that day, he meets Jess down by the tide pools.
Yeah, he does.
And Cody is not impressed by Jess's fascination with the pools, and Jess makes it his mission to show him all the cool stuff that's in there. And then Cody has a sudden realization, eons later, that Jess could help him ace bio.
Cody's a moron, right?
A little bit.
This is why his mother abandoned him. You know what it probably is? Maybe, he's just not getting enough oxygen to his brain because he's used to breathing underwater, so he's, trying his best to adapt to our land oxygen, but it's not working. So his brain isn't working at full capacity.
It's entirely possible. It seems to suggest that he's good at some of his classes, just not biology.
Or, critical thinking skills about how someone who's good at biology could help him with biology.
Yeah, it's wild. And Jess agrees that he'll help him with the biology test and everything if he'll teach him how to swim, because he doesn't know how to swim.
Aren't they partners in a project anyway?
Yeah, but he'll help him pass the project and the rest of biology.
Okay, I'm I'll help you with the project I'm assigned to help you on if you help me. No, you're doing that anyway.
So they agree and shake on it. And as they're doing that, Cody looks down and he's grown some scales.
What?
So on his hands,
yeah,
they're just
that.
Blue and green scales all over his palms.
You gotta be careful. You get those scaly palms. Teenage boys are susceptible to that. But did his mother have scales on her arms? Or is it because I thought...
I do not know the answer to that.
Because I thought more people the scales were the lower body.
This is true. However, we'll get to it.
Okay, all right. I'm just so confused with the rules here. It seems like it's trying to use established mer-person canon, but it doesn't make any sense.
I'm not sure why they're on his palms, to be honest. Even later, that doesn't
really
make sense.
I already explained that. It's a teenage boy thing.
I think it's just an easy place to put them so that other people can't see them, but he can see them.
Oh, okay.
So Jess is very excited about this, though. He's like, oh my gosh, I've only seen that on frogs and lizards and stuff. And Cody's freaking out. Half his palms are covered with it. Yeah, no kidding. On frogs.
Wait, do frogs have scales?
Well, they're like scales. I wouldn't say they're exactly scales, but they're very similar.
I'm just saying, if I suddenly saw a kid next to me growing scales, he'd be like, oh, it's just like that frog. Cool. I'd be like, no, this is weird. I'm freaking out, man.
Nope, Jess is super excited about it. He's like, this is awesome. And Cody's like, this is not awesome.
Cody's correct in this instance.
But luckily, they dissolve before he gets to dinner, so his parents don't see them.
His parents, who may not have stolen him from a merperson.
May or may not have stolen him. So they make plans to meet at Jess's place to work on the project, and Jess warns Cody his dad is a bit eccentric, so, be ready to deal with that. And though Cody isn't supposed to go into the giant warehouse full of weird stuff, he definitely does as soon as he gets there. And he ends up meeting Big John Wheatley, who, when he finds out Cody's parents run the boat tours, asks if they've ever seen anything mysterious that defies logic out in the water.
Yes, my parents run a $5 boat tour. That's what's mysterious and defies logic.
No, that's not what he says.
No, but that's true, though. The fact that they're running $5 boat tours and somehow still have money is a thing that is a mystery. Maybe they're, smuggling cocaine or something.
They might be. I think he says something like, well, they once found a cuttlefish that looked like Regis, which really dated this TV show.
Yes, all the middle schoolers, even at 95, who knew who Regis Philbin was.
It's true, though. 99 was a big Regis year.
Whatever year it was, yeah.
And Cody's like, no, but does weird stuff exists, like mermaids and things. And John's like, yes, I've seen them with my own eyes. And then Jess hurries them off. He's like, okay, time to go, as John stares at them mysteriously.
He's really become obsessed with that merperson.
He really is.
Oh, is he going to be like the antagonist? Is this basically Splash, where the obsession with finding the merperson is going to like lead to their death or like endangerment?
Maybe.
Okay.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
This week on Book Retorts.
In the next 45 minutes on Book Retorts.
Somehow there's already a paper due in class, and Cody gets an A. Not that you ever see him studying or anything.
No.
But then he spends 10 minutes at the water fountain, losing some of his popularity momentum. He just stands there forever, drinking and drinking.
And how's that losing popularity? How's that losing?
Because there's like 20 people behind him in line.
Okay, so...
And they're getting really annoyed that he doesn't hurry up and get away from the water fountain.
Cody does it? I thought it was already popular. Yeah. Why didn't he even went there? I'm confused.
He is mostly popular. He's becoming more and more popular as he gets more faster on the swim team.
Oh, so his popularity is directly correlated with his swim aptitude.
Obviously, Sam.
Oh,
it's
I'm
middle
sorry.
school.
I didn't know that.
Jeez.
Just like my middle school.
This is the American school system.
Right, of course. I remember back in my middle school, the swim team kids were the most well-known kids in the school. I can name all of them, I'm sure.
Okay, I would imagine our school is special.
You weren't at my middle school, Danielle.
I wasn't, but I can't imagine it was that much vastly different than the high school.
I don't think there's any middle school in the country that's like, yes, the swim team. That's where the popularity is. No offense.
Well, apparently in this school, the swim team is everything.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, love swim, but like, come on.
So he finally tells his parents that he's really concerned because he's constantly thirsty, he's always shocking people, and he's getting this weird green scaly rash. I would like to give Cody credit for totally telling his parents pretty much everything that ends up happening in this movie.
I mean, it's nice when a kid is actually wanting to communicate with his parents. That shows that they have good communication with him. That's nice.
Unlike the previous Disney Channel original movie we did, Don't Look Under the Bed.
Yes.
His parents mostly believe him, so this is good.
Danielle, what I want you to do when you're done with all these Disney Channel movies, which I imagine will be many dozen, I want you to write an essay comparing and contrasting them, but also tying them into a larger Disneyverse.
Good, thanks.
Okay, well, we'll see about that.
So what he's afraid of is that he has some kind of genetic condition from his biological parents, which this is the first time you find out that he realizes that he's adopted.
Well, I'm glad, again, something you should not keep from your children. It's totally fine for them to know they're adopted. There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. And so he does know he's adopted, and he knows that he doesn't know the whole story.
He doesn't know that they found him on a boat like a reverse Moses.
Yeah.
So one day you must return to the ocean and lead your people to freedom by parting the Red Sea, I guess. Same story, really. It's all about water.
Coastline. So his mom takes his temperature, which is totally fine, and the parents kind of give each other a look over his head, like, what is going on with our kid?
Maybe
and
take
she's
him
like,
to a doctor?
Oh, Sam.
Are these negligent parents?
She's like, I'm sure you're fine.
Ugh.
And the dad's like, well, maybe Dr. Schwartz could take a look just to make sure there's nothing going on. And apparently, Sam, the mom is anti-doctor.
Oh, no. No. She's like, oh, early anti-vaxxers. No, thank you.
And she's like, whatever is wrong with you, I'm sure it's something a little natural medicine will heal. And the dad's like, okay.
That dad needs to step in and protect his child, because, oof.
Oh, she apparently does a little bit of acupuncture on him. And Sam,
what?
Cody's telling Sam about it later when they go to the fair that night.
If I was Sam, I'd be like, I gotta call CPS. This is insane.
She's like 12 or 13. She's definitely not thinking that.
She should be.
And she asks if he's contagious. And he's like, probably not. And she's like, okay, good. I'm going to hold your hand then. I was like, he has a green scaly rash.
You don't know what it is. How does he know he's not contagious? He just wants to get some.
Exactly. And to be fair, does not have the rash right now.
But like, it's like herpes. You can still give it to people who don't, if you're not like... Yeah, never mind.
So when they try to hold hands, static causes her hair to float around her, which Cody finds delightful and giggles maniacally about.
I mean, that's cute, but also, like, what is it with the electrical merpeople?
We get a brief explanation, which you will not agree with.
Okay, Greg. Unless he's did his mom, like, cross me with an electric eel?
Maybe. We'll find out.
I'm sorry, but I need David Attenborough in here to, like, explain the nature, like, to do a documentary explaining how this all works, because this ecosystem is far too complicated for me.
I think David Attenborough, Disney Channel original movie, like with his voiceover would be fabulous.
I mean, I kind of feel like the original Homeward Bound was basically that. Like
That's
the one
kind of
before
true.
they had all the voice from Michael J. Fox and stuff.
That's fair. So that night, he's in his room and he's sticking to everything. And he accidentally realizes
gross.
he can... he accidentally realizes he can climb his wall.
Oh, why is Spider-Man suddenly here?
He calls his parents into the room when he Spider-Mans the ceiling.
And
He's
the
like
mom is
hanging
like,
from
oh,
it.
it's fine. Let me give you some aromatherapy.
No, the mom is like, maybe we do need to see a doctor.
Oh, okay.
Which, thank God.
Glad she's not the worst person ever.
I was just like, when they introduced that, I was like,
Oh, that was so scary, Danielle.
I did not like it. So, to be fair, the doctor is super weird, and I have to admit that if this was the doctor that was available in your tiny little town, like, maybe I'd be anti-doctor too.
Find a new doctor or bring Bill Pullman in to be your doctor, and then he can fight
Exactly.
spiders in your small town.
So he very funny. So he tells them, he tells them that it's puberty.
No.
What?
This doctor has been through puberty, I presume. Unless this is freaking Doogie Howser. But
That's just the weirdest thing. He's like, I'm going to talk to... Can I talk to him alone for a minute?
Your
And I was
body's
like,
going
no,
through changes.
He's creepy.
these changes are going to result in you sticking to walls and growing scales. It's perfectly normal.
I know, right?
What the heck?
So the scales return, seeming to happen most often when his hands get wet. And Jess, don't say anything about that. So Jess agrees.
Look, Danielle, I don't need to say anything about it. You said it all.
Jess agrees to help him since nobody is taking him seriously. He's like, this is not puberty, Jess.
What's he going to do? Make him grow more scales? You know what I mean? I don't know what that means, actually.
As they're talking, like he's like, Jess, you've got to help me. And just like, well, let's run some tests. And his dad overhears them while he's welding on his boat, nodding enthusiastically for some reason. Like,
Yes.
yeah, find out what's wrong with him, kid.
Why is he telling Jess and not like his actual friends?
Because Jess is the only one who seems to believe him.
Okay.
And he doesn't want to tell his, like, quote unquote, normal friends
That's
about
true.
his weird
That's a fair
scales.
point. Hey, Sam, I know we've been dating kind of for like, I don't know, a few weeks here, but guess what? I got scales. How's that? How do you like that?
So apparently, Jess, after some vigorous testing, seems to think that he's some kind of fish because
What?
after a science study montage,
I want to see the scientific process. Like, let me do a little blood test here. Yes, it's positive for fish.
well, he like plucks a scale off of his hand and like checks it out under a microscope, and he does some research. You see him going through a bunch of like books and studying things.
I
and
don't care
things.
what he does. A fish is a very distinct creature. A human being walking on scales would not be a fish.
Well, he just thinks he's somehow fish adjacent. They haven't
Okay,
quite.
fish adjacent.
You don't hear the details quite yet.
You have some kind of fish ancestry.
He's somehow connected to fish. So he asks Cody to talk to some in a tank.
Wait. He's like, you're related to fish. You have some fish blood in there somewhere. That means you can talk to fish, because fish can talk. The only problem is we can't understand them. That's his conclusion.
The movie doesn't get that much into it, but what happens is he's looking at the fish tank. There's like 6 fish in there.
No.
And he goes, jump. And one of the fish like jumps
So
out of the
he's
tank.
Aquaman. He can control the fish.
Apparently. And they're like, cool, it worked. And that's like the end of that scene.
I'm just so flummoxed. I know. What is happening? He's like, fish jump, and a fish jumps. Like, great, I'm going to take this on tour. We're going to start a fish circus.
So Jess suggests that he stays away from the water. And Cody's like, I can't. I have to be in the water. I can't explain it. Also, swim team, which you've not seen him practice for once since the swim meet.
He's a natural.
Apparently. So that night, Jess is looking at his dad's stuff on mermaids, of which he has a plethora of items, as you might
obviously,
imagine.
yeah, of course.
And his dad walks in asking him, oh, kid, you've had a sudden interest in mermaids? And he asks his dad about an article, a page out of a book. I don't know, Sam.
Some writing on a piece of paper.
And that he's come across to suggest that young merpeople can walk amongst humans until their
What?
13th year of life.
No.
Where they start to manifest as mers.
No.
Merpeople.
Why? Was like a mermaid rumspringa? What is this? Why?
And the dad's like...
Why? Wait, no, we got to stop here for a second, Danielle. We really got to dwell on the fact that there is a species like this. We'll give birth to creatures that look like other creatures and let them walk among them for 13 years before they come back. Like, this isn't like whatever those birds that lay eggs in other birds' nests and have them be raised by them. This is insane. Why? And then if that's the way things normally work, why was the mother so sad that like they would have to let their kids grow up on land if they're land creatures for the first 13 years of their life?
So I don't think it's like that they always do,
but
though
like,
I could be wrong, but just that they can.
They have legs. They're not adapted to the water until they're 13 to start to change. Why would you? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know the answer to that, but the dad says.
Okay, sure. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make any sense. They're like, let me give birth to this, or whatever, hatch, however they come into existence, this creature that is not adapted to where it is, and keep it here in the water, hoping that in 13 years it will eventually adapt to be able to swim and breathe underwater. Until then, it's just going to have to figure it out.
Well, it can breathe underwater when it's a baby, Sam, because we saw that earlier.
Yeah, but, like, can Cody do that now? You think he would have learned that through his swim meet?
No, he can't breathe underwater
Why?
now. As far
so,
as I know.
what is going on?
I don't know. The dad says that's one theory, that in the 13th year, the fish half starts taking over the human half. And my question isn't so much all of that, which is completely valid questioning. But
Danielle, your question isn't that?
My question is, where did this lore originate from? Like, why would anybody know this information?
I'm less concerned about that than the fact that he thinks like...
interview a mer-person?
If the fish half takes over, why don't they become all fish instead of half fish?
Don't know, Sam.
Also, mer-people are not half fish. They're a distinct species. I mean, they don't exist, but like, you wouldn't call a whale a half fish, half cow.
To be fair, this movie's made for like 12-year-olds.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't have to be this stupid.
So he asked his dad, he's like, when did you see the mermaid that you saw in the past?
Oh, 13 years ago.
It was 13 years ago.
And
he's like, oh my gosh, Dad, you have to tell me everything you know about mermaids. This is very important.
He's like, oh, I'm going to bond with my son finally. After years of estrangement and me neglecting, we finally have a connection.
Yes. So after all this study, after talking to his dad, Jess finally tells Cody that he knows it's crazy, but he thinks he's turning into a merman. And somehow the electric current is connected to eels.
I swear, I said the eel thing. I regretted it.
But that's what he says.
Why? Like, it's not like this.
I don't know. Cody's like, why would I have electrical power? And he's like, maybe it's something to do with eels. And I was like, but it's not a merman power.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like, oh, merpeople have all the powers of all aquatic creatures on Earth. They have the sonar skills of like dolphins or whatever, and the eyes range of hammerhead sharks, and the electrical sentient potential of great whites or something.
I mean, they might. You don't know.
You know, I don't know, Danielle. We need a mermaid expert to come on and explain this to me.
Yes, paging a mermaid expert.
Paging Dr. Mermaid to the mermaid expert exhibit.
So as you might think, Sam, Cody doesn't take this news particularly well, but then he does run home and tell his parents that he needs to find his birth parents after showing them his scales, because this is the first time he's actually shown them, which seems crazy because the doctor was there earlier.
Yeah, no kidding.
So they seem to kind of half believe him. They
finally
tell,
and you found him in a basket on your boat in a reverse Moses. Get with the picture here.
Yeah, well, they finally tell him about his origin story. So that's, a step in the right direction.
He found you on a boat, kid. Like, what a story that is. Did they mention all these steps they took to try to locate his birth parents?
So, yes.
Okay, where they said we didn't really try that hard.
I write it down. I don't know if I wrote it down in my notes or not, but they do mention that at some point they mentioned to him that, it must be during the scene, that they went to the police and they reported him missing, but the police allowed him to like be kept, with their family until several months later. There was there was nobody that came forward, and so they eventually started going through the adoption process.
Yeah, that's how babies work.
I'm sure that's exactly how that works.
I mean, you're familiar with adoption, Danielle. Is it that simple?
I imagine they must have become like foster parents at first and done the classwork for that, and then
I'm sure they did all of that.
And
clearly
fostered him.
This mother who was very concerned about her kid's health is taking all those classes.
No, but I imagine that because that's the only way I don't know what California law. No, actually, I do know what California law is. I would say that they probably did have to become foster parents before they adopted him, which is what they were probably allowed to keep him as they were becoming foster parents.
I'm sure none of that happened.
Or maybe he went shortly into foster care system and then went back to them. I don't know.
All right. Well, this has been a fun speculation to our terrible childcare
Most
systems.
states really promote like the parent or the parental figure or whatever keeping the child, so they probably would have kept him with them.
All right, well, I'll give him a pass then, I guess.
If they were interested. I mean, it was a ready-made adoption. Who knows? Sam, it's logistics.
I just think it's insane. You find a baby on a boat and you're like, well, this is happening now.
They wanted a baby anyway. It's fine. I imagine.
Okay.
So, Mom, who doesn't believe in doctors, thinks he's definitely not a merman, and they both agree that he just needs to stay out of the water until they figure out what's going on. And then that night, he's forlornly, like, sitting in front of his fish tank, and he's feeding the fish, but he puts some fish food in his palm, and he, like, looks at it, and then he licks it.
I mean, yeah,
to try it.
I'll probably do that,
but he starts spinning it out. He's like, oh, it's gross. And I laughed so hard.
I mean, yeah, that's good. It's good. That's pretty good. That makes sense to me.
That's a good joke. Because you would. You'd be like, huh, I wonder if I should eat fish food then.
I wonder if fish food is actually not that gross. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Dog biscuits are not as gross as you would think.
And you know this how, Danielle?
Because I was a weird child.
Okay.
I wouldn't eat dog biscuits now, though I actually don't think they would hurt you at all.
I don't think they would hurt you, but I don't think I'd be like, dog biscuits.
Just saying.
I was a weird child too, Danielle, but I never ate dog biscuits.
I just was curious what they tasted like once. They're not that bad. Just saying. I mean, this kid tasted fish food. At least I didn't eat fish food. I
mean, how do you know it's not better? You don't know.
Yeah, if I had some fish, I would try the fish food. So the next morning, the parents are having a very hushed conversation in the kitchen about whether or not they should get medical care for their son.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay. Wait for it. The mom's convinced they'll send him off to some secret government medical facility. No. Which is, yes, it's true, Sam. If he's turning into a fish, they would definitely take him.
I mean, maybe?
I'm on the mom's side for this. This one thing I'm on the mom's side for, because the dad's like, well, maybe there's a specialist. There's no, my son is turning into a fish specialist.
Yeah, thing. But I don't know, like, I also don't buy, like, oh, we have a shadowy government organization that's ready to study fish people, like some Hellboy scenario or something.
I really think somehow the government would get involved.
I mean, I'm not saying that they wouldn't, but this sounds very
maybe in 1999 you could have hit it.
I don't know. This sounds paranoid. Like, that's all I'm saying.
It is slightly paranoid.
And it gives way too much competence to our government.
And I really do think that they would have no luck in finding a specialist regardless.
Oh, absolutely. Like, there's no specialist for fish-human transformations. Like, they're SOL there. No. But, like, you still should, like, not maybe treat it as something that's not turning into a fish person, but saying, hey, he's got, like, because there have been people who've had scales, I think, in history. Like, there are conditions that give you, like, scaly skin or other conditions like shingles. So
yeah, Jess mentions that in his
right. So you can always play it off as, like, something like that.
I mean, I definitely think I would have had him see more doctors just to make sure there wasn't something else going on, and I'm ruling out the mermaid thing, because, like, come on.
Like, you don't go from, doctor says puberty to he's turned into a mermaid with nothing in between that.
Right, exactly. But this movie does. So Cody's listening in at the door and then heads to the beach to mope. And he acknowledges his really bad idea, but decides to swim out. And underneath the water, a mermaid, his mom,
of course,
seems to feel him. I don't know. It's like she's just hanging out on the outskirts by the buoy and is like, oh, that's my boy.
It's been 13 years, and I'm sure he's never been in the ocean ever before now, but now that he's finally been in the ocean once, there he is.
It's very weird. She just, like, hangs out there, as far as I can tell. And he dives and twists, and then he dolphin jumps into the sky with his perfectly normal human body.
What the heck is happening in this movie, Danielle?
I don't know. And the mom just smiles, and she does absolutely
nothing.
Like
say, hey,
she doesn't.
I'm your mother.
She doesn't try to talk to him. She doesn't like wave at him. She does nothing. She's just watching him, and I'm like, what is going on?
Is every parent in this movie terrible?
It's very weird.
Yeah.
I have stuff to say, but I'll wait till the end.
You don't have to.
It won't make sense now.
Okay.
When he gets out of the water, he has fish arm fins, like they're like little fins on his arms.
Why? More people distinctly don't have upper body fish parts.
Well, it's just like the little fins.
I don't understand.
And so Sam shows up and he, like, hides his arms in the sand. And they have a very awkward conversation because he's like, hey, you should leave. And she's like, I don't know. And she suggests going for a swim. And he's like, nope, super good. Don't want to go for a swim. She's like, you have been real weird lately. What's going on with you?
Well,
you should be able to tell me
anything.
Yes, she's like, you should be able to tell me anything and you're hiding something. I was like, should he? Should he be able to tell you anything?
You're 13. They've been, like, dating for like 3 weeks. Get over yourself, lady.
And he's like, yeah, no, I just need some time alone. And it's hurt, of course. Yeah. She leaves. At least he can draw his boundaries.
I guess.
So while teaching Jess to swim, Sassy Sean shows up and is like, we're too cool for Jess. I can't believe you're hanging out with him so much. Why are you even spending time with this dork? And Cody's like, dude, shut up. He's like right there. He can hear you. And also, he's a kind of a cool guy, so knock it off. And apparently they're frenemies. And I don't understand their relationship because honestly, the only thing we'd seen them do is like, he's like, I'm always gold, you're always silver. And I was like, oh, he's like the jerk in the movie. But then you don't see him for 15 minutes. And then when you do, they're like hanging out in the same friend group and they're chatting. And I'm like, oh, they're friends who are just kind of like competitive. He's probably joking at swimming. And then he comes back and he's like, dude, why are you hanging out with this jerky, nerdy kid? I can't believe you've ditched us for him again. And I was like, you're just a jerky friend.
Yeah. I mean, a teenager who has trouble with interpersonal relationships? No.
I know, but you don't usually see it shown in movies.
That's true. This might be the most real Disney Channel original movie ever.
It's amazing. So they agree to fight it out at the meet the next
Wait,
day.
what?
And Jess is like, dude, you can't go to the meet. First up, you haven't even been practicing.
Wait. So they're going to settle this one. They're going to settle who Cody can be friends with at the meet.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I would say yes. That was not quite what was said, but I would argue that is exactly what's going on here.
What? If I win the meet, you can't be friends with that loser? Like, no. Like, what?
Yeah, that's about it.
Nonsense.
So Sam, the next day.
It's the meet. It's the big meet, the state meet.
And there is a full marching band marching alongside the pool.
How? How is it enough? There's not enough room around the pool, and they'd be slipping and falling to their butts all the time.
This is the biggest, outskirts of a pool I've ever seen.
Wild.
And nobody seems to have told the coach that Cody can't swim. Like his parents, who you think would have called and said, Cody, is sick. He's not able to make it to the swim meet.
Does Cody not know that he shouldn't swim? Or is he just like...
Oh, he knows.
Yeah,
he's just he just wants to do it. Because this is his life. And the water calls to him, Sam.
The sea, she calls to me.
Exactly. So Cody's chilling at home, supposedly. His parents keep checking on him, but he sneaks out in between parent checks. And for reasons I don't fully understand, Jess is at the meet, even though he is... I mean, maybe he's playing his tuba, but he doesn't have his tuba with him.
Or is he in his band outfit?
No, he's in normal clothes,
Then he's not playing his tuba.
Yeah, super weird, right? So he's just hanging out. First off, he's in the band, but not in the
That's
marching
what I'm saying.
band.
Why isn't he there playing the tuba?
And he's just hanging out at a swim meet, even though his good friend Cody is not going to be there. Which I just don't understand why Jess is there
he's
at all.
supporting him in absentia, maybe.
Yeah. And so he sees him come into the room and he's like, Cody, you're not even supposed to be here. Get out of here. This is never going to work. You're going to turn into a merman, in the middle of the swim meet, which fair point.
Yeah, Jess is right.
And it does not work. Cody's like, I'll stop swimming tomorrow.
Because yes,
he's like, no.
That's going to stop you from turning into a merperson today.
Right. Sam seems to have instantly forgiven him because she waves from the stands like, oh, it's my boyfriend. And
she suddenly sounds like an old maid. Oh, it's my boyfriend. Oh, he's finally coming back from the war after all these years.
That's exactly what's happening in the scene.
She floating a handkerchief while wearing a lacy collar.
Yes, and she dabs at her eyes with it.
I'm getting the vapors. It's so hot up here in these leeches watching the swim meet. And the marching band is so lovely. Only 4 of them have tripped and fallen into the pool so far.
You didn't say getting the vapors very well.
Excuse me? Excuse me? The person who refused to do any accents at all when they were saying getting the vapors.
I'm just saying, you gave me such a hard time about it, and then you just said it very casually.
A, I wasn't really trying to go for a full Southern belle. I was going for an old lady. And B, you have no right to criticize my my performative skills when it comes to saying the vapors.
You're supposed to show rather than tell, Sam.
Oh, Danielle, I don't want to hear another word from you about this. Until you're ready to put up, you better shut up.
So he gets up on the diving board. He's ready to dive in for the race that's about to start.
Right,
Sam,
of course,
remember where to swim meet.
I understand the stakes here.
And his parents walk into his bedroom and realize he's not there, and they rush off, knowing he's at the meet.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, classic.
So they dive into the water, and Cody is definitely winning, because, he's a potential merman.
Do you think that there'd be all these bills passed about, mer people can't compete in sports with humans?
Absolutely, 100%.
People are the worst.
Especially in America.
Yeah. People are terrible.
Yeah, the United States is not the place to be different.
Oh. It's true.
So Cody's definitely winning, and then they end up doing this very weird sound effect of panting, he's breathing heavily, and I'm like, he's swimming. He is not panting.
Do you not breathe heavily while swimming?
You're not panting underwater. Like, it's while his face is in the water and his arms are going, and it's
He's
like,
learning
it's
to
not
breathe
even on the
underwater.
camera.
If you could breathe underwater, Danielle, wouldn't you?
Yes, perhaps they were trying to insinuate that he was breathing underwater, but I highly doubt it.
Oh, okay. You thought he was, like, trying to show his, like, strain?
I think it's supposed to show his strain, but it's panting, and it just occurred to me while I was watching this scene where I was like, what?
My first thought was they're showing him breathing underwater, but if that's not what's happening, that's insane.
And it's a very weird breathing. Nobody breathes that quickly, even underwater.
Danielle, you don't know merperson biology. Maybe they're panters. Maybe that's how they cool themselves
That's
down.
true. It might be. Maybe
Because you can't
I will give
sweat
it to
underwater.
You. I will give you that. He very well may be panting underwater. So, I would like to point out, in this filming of this, it looks like he's really far ahead, but then Sean is in second place, and he takes it like, the way it cuts, you're like, well, how far away was Sean? Because it looked like he was like, that Cody was pretty far ahead of him. So I paused it on the scoreboard.
Of course you did.
I wanted to know. There was only a second, pretty much a second and a half between first and second place.
Ooh.
And that's like a decent amount of time in swimming, but it's not so fast that Cody is apparently a merperson. I think we should check on Sean's DNA, because if this boy can finish a second and a half behind a merperson.
Danielle, to be
like
fair,
it's amazing.
Cody is mid-transformation with a new body that he is not accustomed to yet. I'm not sure he's operating at peak efficiency.
But it's a second and a half. That's all he wins, and he's like born to swim.
He's
literally.
Even if he was, he has awkward teenage phase as a merperson. Like, he's like not
perhaps
practiced.
We should give Sean more
different
credit.
muscle groups,
like,
maybe.
Sean's amazing. Sean is like seconds behind a merperson.
I think you're giving Cody too much credit. I don't think he really knows how you swim as a person and how he's been trained to swim. It's probably not how a merperson would swim.
But he makes a state record, Sam. It's like the fastest swim ever at States.
Okay, well, that's insane then.
It's not by a lot, to be fair, because the times were not that fast.
Okay, so you keep on flip-flopping here.
I'm just saying, it was a good time.
Okay, good. But not good enough. Sorry, Sean.
Not good enough. So Sean is very put out by this because, he always comes in with gold.
I'm always gold,
Cody
you're always silver. Make new friends, Sean, but keep the old. One is silver, the other's gold.
Okay, yeah, that.
What? That's something I remember from middle school.
So Cody has arm fins. They popped out as he was probably swimming.
No, that's cheating.
And I know, he's bumping them in the air like, yeah, I won. And Sean happens to look over at him. He's like, what the heck?
Why is nobody else seeing this?
I guess there's a lot of like, I don't know, he's like hitting the water and stuff. So there's a lot of like splashes and stuff going on, and everybody's excited, and there's like trumpets blaring. I don't know, Sam. It's the most enthusiastic swimming I've
trumpets
ever
blaring,
seen.
Announcing His Lordship, the Lord of the Water,
I'm
Sir
serious.
Cody Merperson.
The announcer's like, I can't believe we just witnessed this. Like everybody's very enthusiastic about this 13-year-old.
Crazy.
And so he looks over at him and he realizes, obviously, that something's going on with him. And Cody is like, oh my God, he saw me. And so he hits the electronic board, the one that records the times when you hit it, and uses the shock in his body to shock the system. And it like blows up the scoreboard and it creates a diversion so he can climb out of the pool and run off.
I mean, I guess, sure.
Sean runs after him. He's like, I saw whatever's making you swim so fast. The gold should be mine.
Not
Such a good
wrong
friend.
necessarily, but also like, suck it up, Sean.
Yeah. And Cody hides on the ceiling and
What?
then manages.
Okay, just casually drop that in there, why don't you?
He does. He climbs up the ceiling just as he did before.
Danielle, why are you saying the most insane things like they don't matter?
Because I already established that he knows how to climb up ceilings.
Yeah, I'm
with his
not
weird
like climb up the
singing
ceiling in
hands.
a swim meet shower stall, like, and hide from his bully friend.
Well, that's exactly what he does. Sean can't find him, and then Cody manages to escape. He goes out a side door.
You would look up.
And luckily, why would you look up at the
It's
ceiling
not like
of your
ceilings
like
are
gym?
completely outside your peripheral vision. This is like unless the ceiling's like 30 feet tall, like it's not that like I can look across my room and see the entire room, including the ceiling and the floor.
It's one of those gym ceilings that's really tall, like 20 feet.
Okay, maybe then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
And
well, I'm gonna hold you to that.
so he runs outside of the side door, and his parents, luckily, are just driving past, and they see him, and they pull over, and he gets in the car. They're like, get in! So the fins aren't going away this time, and it's freaking out Cody. Even with a hairdryer, they're like blowing it on
I think
him.
it's time to throw him back.
Yes. He had a good run.
He's clearly
back in the
juvenile,
water.
and fishing laws are very clear. You shouldn't fish juvenile.
Right. So Jess runs into the house. So they're like sitting on the couch. They're trying to blow dry his fins off. And Jess runs in saying, he's like, I saw the whole thing. And then Sam runs in, sees his fins, and faints dead on the floor.
Aw, she didn't want to learn this way. But you know what? It's kind of exciting for her, I bet. Like a real Shape of Water situation.
Yeah, no, she's not into it. She's very perturbed by it. And they ask her to keep it a secret. And she's like, you guys are all crazy. And, she sees the fin arms. And she storms off.
This is a real business opportunity. They could basically salvage their failing boat business by turning into a freak show, which is awful, but, would work.
She agrees not to say anything.
Okay.
But it's just too much for her to deal with, and she can't do it right now, and she leaves.
I'm so sad for their short-lived teenage romance.
Yes. At school the next day, apparently his fins have gone away. Sean is being a total jerk face. He's like, did you take pills or steroids?
I took 12. Fish pills. You know those fish oil pills? This is what they do to you.
If he was so tired of coming in second that he cheated, and this is the only way to beat him. And he's like, I'm not cheating, which maybe, but...
I mean, it was definitely something new.
Then they start a fight in the hall, which gets broken up by a teacher.
Aww.
So Jess and Cody later that day have a nice heart-to-heart on the beach about Jess being the only friend, quote-unquote, who has stuck around and how much he means to Cody.
Aww.
I know. It's Jess's first friend.
Well, Jess, you're blossoming into a lovely young man.
Yeah, and apparently Cody's first friend, because his friends suck.
I was going to say, it's not much better with Sean.
Then that night, Cody decides again to swim out into the ocean.
Why?
He feels it calling to him, Sam.
Sure. All right.
He holds his breath for an ungodly amount of time. Like, you know how sometimes when you see people hold their breath in movies, you hold your breath too, just to see if you can, make it through the entire scene?
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be super dead.
But also, he's merperson, Danielle. It's fine.
I know. And a mermaid swims to him, glowing. It's obviously his mom.
Finally.
But there's only one mermaid in the entire sea.
Well, I mean, one that's hanging out near that buoy. She's really marked her... They're very territorial, Danielle.
They are. As they're getting closer and closer together, they're interrupted by Big John Wheatley and his boat overhead, who is so excited to see them when they come up for air.
Has he been, following Cody, knowing he would lead him to the mermaid?
No, it doesn't seem to suggest that at all. It just seems to suggest that he was, trolling the area. I don't know, man.
What? My English is way more interesting.
So he sees Cody through his binoculars, and the mermaid and him both kind of freak out and dash away, and he's not able to catch up with them in the moment. So Cody runs home and leaves a message for Sam to meet him at the cove tomorrow. He's like, something really weird happened.
Why
I have
Sam?
to tell
Why
you
not
about
Jess?
It. Because I don't know. He wants to make up with Sam.
Yeah, let me make up with you by telling you I met my mermaid mother.
Maybe he doesn't want to tell him because his dad is involved.
Yeah, but Jess is not his father. All right, whatever. Let's go.
Big John, the next morning, has arranged a giant net on his ship to catch the mermaid. And Jess walks out, and he, starts freaking out, and he runs off to tell Cody. Cody is not home. His mom's like, he's over at the cove. You can go hang out there. And instead of just telling his parents about what's going on, even though they know the entire story, it makes sense to be like, hey, my dad's trying to, catch your son and another mermaid.
You can go run interference.
No, he doesn't tell them, and he leaves to go get Cody.
Wild.
I know. So Sam she does actually end up showing up at the cove, and she apologizes for freaking out, and he says he wants to show her something.
I bet he does.
And yeah, he does. And somehow so he's standing there. He's like, I want to show you something. And then you hear the bell ringing out on the buoy. And he can somehow the tone of the bell seems to let him know that his mom is out there.
Did he bring Sam to meet his mom? How would he know she would show up?
I don't know. And sure enough, she appears. And he's like, hey, I'm here. Okay, she doesn't say anything. She just appears majestically.
Hi, Cody. I'm your mother. I'm a merperson. What's up? I abandoned you in a boat and I didn't come back for you for 13 years. I don't know. Things happen. I got busy.
Oh, no. This is where I
didn't
realized
keep up
that
with
apparently
current events.
This is where I realized that apparently mermaids don't current events. 3.
Yeah.
Ding.
No, you missed the tuna one I told earlier, but anyway, that's all right.
4 puns, you guys.
It's hard, Danielle.
So, this is
Cuddle
where
me
I
some
realized.
slack.
Oh my gosh. 5. You can blame Sam for this one being long.
That's fine. It's my own fault.
So, this is where I realized.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. There's something here.
The mermaid does not speak English or verbally at all.
It just, like, telepathically communicates.
Yes. Yes, she does.
What are these merpeople, Danielle? Why is
I don't know. I'm so confused by this. I don't understand why.
I mean, I don't necessarily believe that they would speak English because I imagine they would have a different form of communication, but why would they, psychically?
I mean, it kind of makes sense. They're underwater. How else are they going to communicate with each other?
Sound waves work just fine for whales.
I suppose. What I don't understand is why she leaves a baby. Like, it seems like it's an accident, right? She didn't mean to leave the baby, so I don't know what her plans were for the first 13 years of its life.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's living in somebody else's. Maybe she was carrying the baby because she was going to go find a nice home for it with humans. Who knows?
Maybe this is part of their life cycle. They abandon their babies on the shore until they're old enough to come back to the sea.
And apparently, like, he couldn't understand her until now, even though she seems to have kept an eye on him and saw him moments before and didn't say anything to him.
I don't know anything about this movie, besides what you told me, but I think that the mer-lore in this movie is the most insane part of it.
It's crazy. So she's standing there, they're having some kind of like psychic communication, and then suddenly Cody drops to the ground, groaning in pain.
He's giving birth.
Yes, he's like, go get my parents! And the mermaid rushes towards shore. Obviously, she can't get onto the shore. But as Cody's laying there, suddenly his fins start to grow on his feet.
Oh, he's transforming. He's going through changes.
He is. The weird part is that there's a
weirder part.
There is. There's a fin for each foot.
Wait. Do they then, like, merge to get, like, a zipper?
He's like, well, right now he just has two fins. Like, it's like he's wearing those flippers.
What? None of the mer anatomy makes any sense.
Maybe it's because he's a boy mermaid. I don't know, Sam. Meanwhile, apparently, while all this is happening, because Sam runs off to go get his parents, he's been found by Big John, who has put him on his boat. And I can't tell.
Wait, Big John, like, found him in the cave and, like, dragged him onto his boat?
It wasn't even a cave. It's just, like, a cove area. Like, he's on a beach. So I assume it's hard to tell if Big John's kidnapping him because he's turned into a mermaid, or if he's taking him because he's like, we'll be at the dock soon or something like that.
He's trying to help him or something.
Right. It sounds like he's kind of trying to help him, but Cody's like, I need to go in the water. Like, I have to go into the water. Like, I'm struggling on land. And he's like, this should help. And he just pours a bucket of water on him.
That's funny.
I was like, what? Like, are you kidnapping him or are you helping him, man?
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah, I was so perplexed. So John sees Cody's mom in the water because she's following after the ship, obviously. She's very worried about her son. And he goes after her with his net, and he traps her inside.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Merperson, who we know nothing about.
Right. And they're kind of like heading towards the dock area. So Jess sees all this happening as he's running, trying to, find Cody and everything. And he jumps up aboard the ship from the dock and is trying to get Cody in the water. And as I said, Cody has separate fins for each leg, because that's how mer people work.
In this movie, apparently they do.
Yeah, and Big John, meanwhile, has completely forgot about Cody and is very obsessed with this mermaid.
Well, I mean, he got the hot one.
Child dies on his boat.
Why do you want the kid when you got the parent? That's a much more exciting. I mean,
it is, apparently.
She can make more of them.
The hot girl.
I assume she's fairly attractive merperson.
Yes, I mean, she's just a merperson.
I don't know. I don't know what's attracted by merperson standards, Danielle. I don't know.
She's got
she's probably in her 40s.
She's got long, flowing blonde hair. She's, a relatively attractive human being.
But she's not a human being, Danielle.
Okay, well, I meant the upper half of her.
Okay.
You really only see that part out of the water.
Question. Do you think that mer people are in the same family as centaurs?
Probably.
Okay, I'm glad we established that, Danielle. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was
There's some common ancestor.
Right, yeah, the half
something.
person, half animal. They have a common ancestor.
Exactly.
Elephants and whales are very closely related. Whales are just elephants who said, I'm done with land and went back to the ocean.
That's exactly what happened, yes.
So centaurs, I'm done with the land centaur. I'm going to be an ocean centaur and became mer people.
I imagine. I'd have to imagine that's how that came about.
The psychic powers, then, where'd those come from?
Because you have to communicate underwater. I don't know. Maybe they just tried real hard and it worked.
Let me just squeeze my brain real hard. All right. What happened? Big John is murdering a child and kidnapping its mother.
Yes. And Jess grabs a knife out of one of the toolkits that are on board the ship or on the boat.
He stabs his father to death.
No, he jumps into the water and he uses his barely there swimming skills trying to cut open the net so that the mom can escape.
That was my answer better.
Yes, I imagine that would have been a more interesting story.
Patricide.
Disney plot twist. That does happen a lot. in Disney movies, to be fair.
I wonder if they did like a version of Oedipus, if this would be...
So it's kind of a Lion King-y
in
its own way.
Yeah, okay.
So his dad starts to bring the net up while his son is like swimming trying to cut it, which just seems like a good way to get your son killed.
I mean, he's got the merperson. What is it his son for?
You think he'd be more concerned too. He knows his son can't swim. Like that's not something he doesn't know about his son, I would imagine. And his son's in the water next to the net and he's like, I'm gonna bring the net up. I'm not gonna worry about my son at all. He'll be fine.
Counterpoint, Danielle. He is fine.
I mean, he's doing okay. I wouldn't say he's great at swimming.
I mean, he'll be fine. He's not going to die in this movie.
Maybe. So Jess manages to cut a hole and the mermaid escapes before the net makes it out of the water. But then the net accidentally drops and Jess gets caught on a loose thread, pulling him under.
Oh, no.
He might die, Sam.
He's not going to die. He's going to be saved by the merpeople. And then Big John Wheatley's going to be like, oh, I've reformed my ways. You saved my son.
No.
Okay.
Not untrue, but not quite true.
I love when I get it, like, mostly right. It's so much fun.
So his dad, finally frantic, like, oh my gosh, my son who can't swim was just dragged out of the water.
Hey, you're a champion swim person, Cody. How about you go get him?
Well, who knows where Cody is at this point. So his dad jumps in after him, but he can't find him, mostly because he's actually not looking under the water. He saw his son get dragged under.
Like, and he's literally, like, where are you? Where are you?
He's literally just like,
he's treading water.
He's like, Jess! My boy, where are you?
My boy! Where my boy?
Underneath you.
My wet boy. He's so wet. He can't be wet. He's like a sponge. He'll absorb all the water and sink.
It's not
nothing without his
funny
tuba.
Scene, but it is. He is nothing without his tuba. Poor Jess. But thankfully, Cody manages to make it in the water, and he saves Jess.
Yep.
And pulls him to the dock, and like up onto the dock. And the parents arrive, and they do very questionable CPR a few times, and like
define questionable. What do you mean, like lazy or like they're trying to kill him?
I mean just really lazy. Like they do like 5 little pushes, and then what's her face? Sam gets to do the CPR, like the breath in, and they do 5 more little pushes, and then she does a little breath in, and they're like, "Well, it's not working."
Oh, they just leave him for dead. I thought you could do the cough up the water thing in every movie.
No, and Cody's like, wait, I've got an idea. Everybody stand back.
Does he jump on his chest?
No, he uses his eel powers to shock him.
Yes. When your lungs are full of water, what you need is an electric shock.
That works. He coughs up a little bit of water and wakes up.
Perfect. Brilliant.
I can't believe you didn't think of that, Sam. I thought for sure you would realize that he's going to use his eel powers.
I thought after he made the billboard explode, they were done.
Nope. Even better.
Great.
Big John is tearfully like, I thought I lost you, son. And Jess points out that everything he said about the mermaids was true. And John's like, it doesn't matter. You're way more important to me. They have a nice father-son bonding moment.
I mean, you weren't important to me for the last 13 years, but now you are.
I didn't really care when you were in the water to begin with.
Yeah, right. Or like
since you almost drowned.
When you were playing your tuba, never went to see you, didn't care.
Didn't want to help you out. Totally obsessed with mermaids for 13 years of your life.
Now instantly have a change of heart. Boy, Jess is going to need a lot of therapy.
Mm-hmm. So the parents, as I said, have arrived, and they seem particularly confused, which seems very weird to me because their son has mermaid legs, so they already know.
I mean, they should be able to grok what's happening. Like, they should put together.
Yeah. Like, it's not that hard. And the mermaid mom floats towards them. And I guess they really can telepathically communicate because he knows that she wants him to come with her and help with the changes, quote unquote.
If that's what the title of a horror movie, Danielle, then nothing is.
The changes.
The changes.
You should watch Ginger Snaps.
No.
If you want a movie about the changes.
Puberty horror? No, thank you.
It's great.
I've been through puberty once, Danielle. I don't need to ever see it go through again.
It's a pretty good movie.
I'm sure it's a very good movie.
The mom, not the real mom, the human mom is what I meant.
Human mom, not mer-mom.
The human mom is distraught, but seems to have a telepathic mom moment because while crying, she nods at the other mom as they make eye contact. And she's like, son, your mom really loves you. And it's okay. It won't be forever.
Wait, why not?
Your mom promises to have you back before school starts.
The next day or like in the fall?
Like in the fall.
Oh, so his changes are temporary and they can get right back out of the water. What is this movie?
I don't know. They never explain why he can sort of it doesn't last forever. Can he just walk on land if he comes to land? Who knows?
This is crazy.
Up to that point, you're like, okay, they spend 13 years of their life on land and they go to the ocean and live the rest of their lives in the ocean. Nope. Turns out that they could come back after summer break to just continue living their human lives.
Or, after the changes, post-change merpeople can go on land. Why did the mother never come on land to get her child?
I do not know. Maybe you have to choose at some point. Maybe it's like every merperson's choice. They have to decide in the future if they're going to be human or mer.
I am upset.
So Uncle Joey doesn't have much to say except, oh, I love you, son. He seems cool. Like, see you back. Well, I'm sure you'll have a good time. We'll see you in a few months.
You'll enjoy being a merperson in the ocean where you'll probably be hunted. Who knows? It's dangerous out there. What will you eat? How does it all work? I would have questions.
Nope, he doesn't have any.
Do they have like a radio caller they can tag him with? So at least can track him?
That'd be helpful, but no. And Jess is like super excited. He's like, oh my gosh, take notes about everything you see. I want to hear details about everything.
Pens and paper, notorious for working underwater.
And Big John is like equally as enthusiastic, like, oh, I can't wait to hear mysteries of the deep.
And Sam's like, when you get back, I hope you can like change at will because that sounds like it's going to be exciting.
So Cody gets into the water and swims towards her under the water.
Does Sam not have anything to say about this? Is she just out of the picture now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember a single thing she says during that scene.
Perfect.
Maybe she does. Maybe they kiss. I don't know. So he and his mom do glowing hand touches. They come up and hold their palms against each other and it glows. I don't know, Sam.
This movie doesn't try to make sense, does it?
No. Then she hugs him and they swim off together. And then Cody jumps from the air. He like dolphin jumps into the sky. And now he has a full tail, Sam. So apparently that was just part of the evolution of the tail. Yeah. So he has a full tail now. And Cody waves at his family. And Jess complains that he finally made a friend and he turned into a fish. Isn't that just typical?
And then Sean walks up and he's like, I'll be your friend.
Yes, that's how that works. So they swim off into the night, Sam.
The
light. Not really in the night. Yeah, it's the daytime.
Sunset. They swim off in the sunset, Danielle. Come on.
Yes. That was this movie, The 13th Year.
First off, the title makes it sound way more interesting. Like the 13th Year is going to be like some kind of weird, crazy thing and not just a weird mermaid story.
It's great.
Secondly, I am angry at the mermaid lore in this movie.
I knew you would be. It's the best part of the movie.
How nonsensical it is. It sounds amazing.
Yes.
Nothing makes sense. These poor people are just like, no, whatever the plot needs, that's what they do.
Solid movie. Would recommend.
Do you recommend every DCOM movie?
No. I would recommend Don't Look Under the Bed more than I would recommend any other DCOM movie.
Okay, well, I'm glad we established the ranking. We should have your power ranking. We should do a bracket of your DCOM.
It's like Don't Look Under the Bed and Xenon are the two best DCOM movies, in my humble opinion.
Oh, well, they'll see if they can make it to the end of the bracket in the final four.
Yeah, I probably won't do Xenon. I'm not sure it's weird enough for us.
Oh, Danielle, I don't know what more I can add to that movie, only that I really need someone to explain to me what the heck the mermaid lore in this movie is all about, because I am very confused.
That's totally fair. It doesn't explain anything. In fact, it just becomes progressively more confusing as you go along.
Like, every time you're like, I think I get what's going on. Oh, no, I don't. Well, maybe this. Okay, yeah. No, okay, no, it's not that. But it must be this. No, it's not. No, okay, fine. Oh, the movie's over.
You should have been in my brain, though, when they say that, oh, she'll bring you back for school. That's and I felt like it was like a record drop, like record scratch like, in my brain. I was like, what? Whoa.
That's like you when he was like, oh, he's on the ceiling now. Like, wait a minute. Go back.
This just made no sense to me because I was all aboard. I was like, okay, he's got to choose to go, like, he's got to leave his family behind and he can just visit them on the shore. Like, it'll be fine. But no, turns out he can also be human for reasons.
Maybe he can just visit. Maybe he'll do, like, summer school, like a school of fish. Get it?
And then real questions, right. Like, will he have more control? Will he have more control over it in the future? Like, will he be able to do swim team next year?
Well, Danielle, I had like a lot of questions about this, and I don't think they're going to be answered.
I'm sorry. I did my best.
Oh, that's number 6 on the fish puns.
Good job, Sam. Half a dozen fish puns.
I'm trying here. It's not easy.
You're doing fantastic.
All right. That's pretty good, Danielle.
Hey, Danielle got a fish pun.
All right. Well, if you have a fish pun you want to share with us...
Ooh, please do.
Yeah, you can contact us at bookretorts.com.
which would be a weird place to send us a fish bun, but please do. Or you can tweet, Instagram, or Facebook us at Booker.
Why would our website be a weird place to send us a fish bun?
I don't know. Wouldn't it just be funny to get an email that's just like a single line and it's a fish bun?
I would love that. What are you talking about?
I would love that too. It just seems like social media, it would be more of a place to like share a fish bun or a fish joke. We'll also take fish jokes.
I'm not here to complain, but any way I can get those fish joke puns or whatever, like, go for it. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah. Please send Sam a fish pun via email.
And if you want to support our fish punnery, you can do so at patreon.com/bookretorts.
Book Retorts. Patreon!
Well, you went to a fish pun version of that?
I couldn't think of one fast enough. You know I'm not as good at puns as you are.
It's okay, Danielle. I couldn't think of one either.
That I even got one was, like, great.
That's very impressive. All right, well, until next time, keep a close eye on your children when they turn 13, because they might turn to fish people and leave you.
Yeah, that's the risk you take, having a baby dropped in your boat.
In the basket, the reverse Moses.
Don't reverse Moses babies.
Don't reverse or forward Moses babies. No, that's good. Don't leave babies in baskets. Let's put or just anywhere. Don't leave babies places.
Words of wisdom to live by.
All right. Well, until next time. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm telling you not to besmirch the good name of my weirdness.
I can besmirch them if I want to.
Yeah, well, then you'll be smirching them to yourself, because I'll cut it all out, I swear.
Besmirching them to yourself.
That's right. Stop besmirching yourself, Danielle. Why are you besmirching yourself?
I'm not besmirching you. I'm not besmirching you.
The word besmirch not good enough for you.
It's a great word.
It's a great word.
It's a weird word. I wonder what the etymology is of that.
Well, I think the etymology starts with a B, as in, like, you know, the verb, and then smirch, which I think is self-explanatory.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Yeah,
smirching.
Smirch. Yeah, absolutely.
To smirch. Or not to smirch, that is the question.